Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Tara Maple. I am an acute care nurse practitioner, and today I want to talk to you about the 7 things that I wish I knew before becoming a nurse practitioner. Not saying that had I known these things ahead of time, I wouldn't have chosen this career, but just things I wish I knew before becoming a nurse practitioner. So if you're currently a nurse thinking about becoming a nurse practitioner, or you're in nurse practitioner school, or if you are a nurse practitioner, you can even relate to some of these things. So here we go. Number 1, the learning curve. So when I went to school and got my degree as an acute care nurse practitioner, I was trained as a generalist. So I was taught a little bit about everything, just because when you graduate, you never know what field or specialty you're going to go in. Nurse practitioner school just lays that foundation for everything. So about 2 years into my career, I ended up working in the neuro intensive care unit. And when I tell you, it was such a steep learning curve. The things that I was being exposed to, the patient population, it was new. It was all new. So I basically had to go back to school, technically, reading things, researching things, asking questions, probably walking around with a big question mark above my head. I was just, and when I tell you the imposter syndrome was real, I was definitely feeling inadequate, overwhelmed with all of the new information and expectations. No matter what specialty you go into, there's going to be some type of learning curve that's going to happen. Also, depending on what your individual background is, you may have more experience in a certain area, and then obviously if you go and continue to work in that area as a nurse practitioner, it won't be as new for you. But for the most part, there's going to be a learning curve that's going to happen. So expect that. But you will get it if you dedicate yourself to learning the information, asking the questions, and making the commitment to educate yourself. And that leads me to number 2. Learning never stops. You will never know everything. Medicine is forever changing, and especially nowadays, how technology is developing and improving things. Things are always changing. So with that being said, you need to make sure that you stay up to date with the changes in medicine, with the changes in, diagnosing, treatment of different conditions, and ways to make sure that you stay up to date on those things are by attending conferences, memberships in professional organizations, subscribing to reputable nursing and medical journals, and listening to podcasts. So I am going to do a separate video about my favorite podcast that I like to listen to stay up to date. Number 3, use your resources. Back then when I started, I remember when I was first starting out, I felt embarrassed to pull out my pocket guide or to pull out my phone to look up something because I felt like the nurses and the staff was judging me. Look, do what you got to do. These days, I don't mind pulling out my phone or looking up on the computer, whatever I need to look up, because I don't know everything. And every patient don't fit the mold all the time, and you have to treat patients on an individualized basis. Fortunately, these days with technology, information is readily available and easily accessible. So if you don't know something, that's because you ain't trying to look for it. Number 4, the weight of responsibility.
A few moments later.
Number 4, the weight of the responsibility of assuming the nurse practitioner role. I can remember being the know-it-all registered nurse, making these little comments and remarks to the provider. Hey, if you want to order this, what do you think about doing this? What about ordering this test? What about doing this? But when I tell you, once you are placed in that role and you're wearing that hat and now that responsibility is on you, you're thinking twice about what you're ordering, why you're doing the things you're doing, double checking and triple checking all of the possible side effects. You're just so nervous about making the wrong decisions and, going home thinking about, did I do the right thing? Did I make the right decision? Those things can weigh down on you, and it is an emotional burden that you undertake. However, I was fortunate to have an excellent team and attending physicians that I worked with that was very supportive and helped me along my learning journey, which takes me to number 5, orientation. Like I said, I had a good team and good physicians, great physicians that I worked with that helped to assist and to mold me into the provider that I am today. I had a good orientation system and process that we went through. I wasn't just thrown to the wolves. That is unsafe. I do not recommend. They were always willing to help, answer questions, especially when I started working night shift. My physicians were always encouraging me to call them. Never had an attitude or got mad because I called them and asked questions. They were always ready to help, wanted to help, and I'm grateful for that. Number 6, this is going to be a short one. Professional liability insurance. All I got to say is get it. Get your own liability insurance to protect yourself. Because even if you work at a hospital or institution that says that they're going to cover you, if something were to happen while you were employed by them, I wouldn't trust that, because if you did not, let's say, maybe operate exactly within what they say you should have done, and depending on what the case is and who you're up against, ultimately, when it comes down to it, they are going to protect themselves. They're going to protect the organization. And if that means throwing you under the bus, I wouldn't be surprised if they do. So you need to get your own professional liability insurance so that you know that somebody is working for you. Somebody is going to protect you. You work too hard to get to where you are to not make sure that you protect your license and your career. And lastly, the impact on people's lives. So what I did expect was, and why one of the reasons why I went into healthcare was to help people, and just having a caring spirit and wanting to help people. What I didn't expect, mostly when I was taking care of patients who were Black, either the patient or the family members, they would be talking to me, and then they would just tell me how proud they were of me and how they were proud to see someone who looked like me in that role. And I think at first I took it for granted. I didn't realize, that it would be such a big deal. But just over the years, I would just get that all the time. And we learn about providing culturally competent care. And no matter how much medical or nursing knowledge you have, no matter how much you read or you learn, you're never, unless you are a part of a person's culture, that's the only way you truly understand their culture. And I think that patients and families appreciate it, and they felt at ease to see someone that looked like them. When I walked into the room, I could tell that they felt like they had someone on their side, someone that they could trust with their care. Additionally, when I would go see patients on other floors or just walking around the hospital, something else I didn't expect was the impact that I would have amongst the other healthcare workers around me. So nurses who maybe would leave and then come back to the hospital and tell me how they're now a nurse practitioner school, and I inspired them, and they looked up to me. Or I would go to other floors in the hospital to see consults and to see new patients, and someone may not have said something to me at that point in time because I was obviously on a mission and I was working. But if they happened to see me in the hallway or in the elevator or somewhere alone, they would pull me to the side and they would either say how proud they were of me, of how proud they were to see me in this role, how I inspired them to go back to school. And this was just something I wasn't expecting, giving me the confidence to own who I was and gave me validation of who I was, not only as a nurse practitioner, but also as a person. And over time, hearing these things from patients, family members, nurses, other healthcare workers, it ended up instilling confidence within me, and it gave me validation that God had me exactly where I needed to be, doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. I just went to work just because I was going to work, not realizing that other people were watching me. Yes, I may have inspired them, but they also touched me as well, which I was not expecting to happen at all. So now we've reached the end. If you like the information, if you learned something, if you can relate, give me a thumbs up so you can show your support and I can continue to bring you content like this. Also subscribe to my channel. I hope that sharing some of the lessons that I learned along my nurse practitioner journey will help those considering becoming a nurse practitioner at the beginning of their journey, or changing specialties. Just know that you're not alone. We have all been the new or the novice nurse practitioner. What are some things that you wish you knew before becoming a nurse practitioner? Share in the comments below. Let's talk about it. See you next week.